Welcome to the Alpha Overwatch podcast, where we tackle subjects to help men, especially first responders and military personnel, go forth and conquer. Alpha Overwatch is a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting those on the front line, helping them go forth and conquer in every area of their lives by providing community support and tactical retreats. To learn more and support the first responders and military personnel Alpha Overwatch is impacting, visit our website at alphaoverwatch.org. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the Alpha Overwatch podcast. My name is Richard Jett, the founder and chairman of Alpha Overwatch, and hopefully you guys are doing well. I know it's been a while since our last podcast, but we're getting back into the groove of things, and today we're going to tackle one of those character traits that sometimes we don't think about because it's not an American English word. It comes from Finland. So if you come from Finland, or you know a little bit more about this, please email me, comment, let me know where I'm missing the mark, but I'm going to try to do my best in describing this term that I've come to really like and try to embrace and to live out in my life. And I think it's something that we all have. Those of us that have been on the front line or on the front line as first responders, military, it's part of us, and sometimes we don't have the right terminology for it. And hopefully today maybe you can get a new terminology to put words to a character trait that you guys have and that this world needs more of. So we're going to get into that here in a minute, but I know it's been a while since our last podcast. There's been a lot of stuff going on personally, not terrible things, just life things. Transmission goes out and you have to deal with that, and then you got kids' teeth needing fixed, and you got just work stuff, and then so there's been a lot of that, but there's been a lot of cool things happening in the background of Alpha Overwatch, which is going to be coming up here very soon. I know we've been promising the recon event, and it's happening, and we are fine-tuning our schedule, our details, and as soon as that's ready to go, we will be pushing that out there. And if you'd like to be part of the pilot program of our very first recon event, we would love to have you. So if you're a first responder or a military personnel, either a veteran or is currently serving, or a minister, we would love to have you on this event. And so be sure to email me right here at the bottom, or you can also go on our website, info@alphawatch.org, and email as well there. But if you're interested, let us know. All the different training that we go into, whether it be fire, police, EMS, military, the one I think that always is the hardest, and one that is always at the back of our mind, is for those Mayday calls. When your brother in arms goes down and you have to drag them to safety and give them the help that they need. When you're on the fire scene and the Mayday, Mayday, Mayday comes out, and you now have seconds to try to get in there and try to get your brother out. I know at the back of my mind, when I was training, working out, I had that in the back of my mind. Like, I want to be an asset, not a liability, to the best of my ability. And so pushing myself as hard as I could, and tightening my diet, and trying to, be up on some trends and techniques, and pushing myself so that in those moments when, you're trying to drag this firefighter out, that you don't give up, because it's oftentimes up here in our mind. That's what goes out before a lot of times our physical strength. And I know I wasn't the strongest person, and I wasn't the quickest, but one thing I could control was my endurance, and like, okay, I can develop my mental toughness to get me through this. And a lot of times our RIT trainings were the most grueling, with all the obstacle courses and stuff like that we would put ourselves through to just help build that mental toughness. And there's oftentimes going through, like, I would be extremely disappointed in myself. And I remember one of my brothers, he was a Marine sniper, and he kind of went out after a call, and he didn't really do anything major. He was kind of new on but there was a little mistake, and it wasn't anything bad. But man, he put himself through came back after the fire call and put himself through the ringer in a workout, and I was like, hey man, I think you're beating yourself up a little bit too much on that one. And he goes, it was something that he just developed in the Marine Corps, was just pain retains. And so there's sometimes that part where, we make a mistake. Okay, how can I get better in that so that next time that's not an issue? And constantly that refining process. And we need to do that not just in our, professional lives, but we should be doing that in our own personal lives. Like, I had to just do this here recently. Apologize to my girls. I had been gone all week, was on a work trip with some of the students from our school in Puerto Rico. And it was a great week, but it was a grueling week as well. And come back, missed my family, and, in those, hadn't even been home for 48 hours. And I just was at my end of the rope, just exhausted and everything like that. And, they're doing their normal fighting type thing and whatever. And I kind of just snapped. And then later on, I'm like, you completely overreacted, you idiot. And so going back and apologizing to my kids, like, hey, listen, what you were doing was not right, but the way that I responded was also not right. And so, asking for their forgiveness. And if that's something that as men we need to probably embrace a little bit more, is that we don't have all the answers, and have that humility to know that. And when we mess up, that we come forward and we own it. We are all about extreme ownership in our professional lives. Well, it should be the same in our own personal lives. Like, hey, honey, I blew it on this. I'm sorry. And I'm going to try to do better. And we work harder because pain retains. We're going to work harder at trying to do that. But kind of come back to that mental toughness part. There was my son and I, we were at a movie, John Wick 4. And we love all the John Wick series. And so when John Wick 4 came out, we were at the premiere night, ready to go. And during the previews, there was a preview that came on that said, the critic claim was, the most fun you're going to have seeing Nazis get absolutely destroyed. And I'm like, in my head, like, I'm seeing that. And before I could even look over to my son and say something, he's like, Dad, we're going to go see that, right? And I'm like, yeah. But the whole purpose of the movie, or the premise of the movie, is about a guy that finds gold at the end of World War II and has to get it to a bank. And on the way to this bank, hundreds of miles away, he encounters some SS soldiers of the Nazi regime. And so they try to get his gold, and it's him trying to keep his gold and fight off these Nazis. And the movie is called Sisu. And I was like, that's an interesting word. And come to find out, it's a Finnish, or it comes from Finland. And so again, if you come from Finland and can add some clarity to this, please comment, correct me where I'm wrong. But I want to just describe what Sisu is. And I think it will be an encouragement to you, and maybe that you can maybe develop more in your life and tap into this Sisu that we all have. So in the movie, it opens up and it says this. Sisu is a Finnish word that cannot be translated. It means a white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination, and Sisu manifests itself when all hope is lost. Okay, looking into more of it, it's white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination in the face of overwhelming odds. It's a Finnish concept and no direct really translation. It means strength of will, determination, perseverance, and acting rationally in the face of adversity. Like when the bullets start flying and the fire's coming out and all that, like that's you guys, that's us. Like when we are being able to, we train ourselves to act rationally in the face of that adversity. It's not momentary courage. It's not just this instant type thing, but the ability to sustain courage, that it goes over time. It's a character trait. It's grit. It's stoic determination. It's tenacity of purpose, bravery, resilience, and hardiness. It's deeper and more nuanced meaning of inner strength and resilience, especially in face of overwhelming adversity. And it can sound a lot like grit, and that's kind of where I've been trying to figure out, like, okay, what is grit and what is Sisu, and isn't that the same thing? And as I'm diving more into it, I'm realizing it's not the same thing, but to try to describe why it's not, it's a little bit tricky. Grit is more focused on long-term goals and sustained effort. And I was thinking this through more, is that grit, have grit and not get anything done, right? You can be just going through so much hardship and you got stuff breaking, you got stuff due, you got this happening, you got this really, and you're going through this period of suffering, and you're doing it, and you can say that you have grit, that you're just kind of grinding it out type thing, but you're not doing anything to overcome the adversity that you're facing. Does that make sense? And that's what Sisu is. Sisu is actually action-oriented. Some described Sisu as the energy that lies past grit and perseverance to overcome adversity. It's an action-oriented type mentality. It's more intrinsical. It's a response to adversity rather than the conscious effort to achieve a long-term goal. It's understanding, hey, I'm overcoming this, but this means more, and so I'm going to act in response to that. It's not just about having courage or willpower. It's about translating those qualities into concrete actions. Okay, you have this happening to you. What are you going to do to overcome this adversity? What are the steps you're going to take? What's the next step you need to take right now? And that's the Sisu that comes out. It's about transformative action. It's about taking action. It's an action-oriented mindset, and not just sitting back and taking it, which is kind of what can happen when you have grit. Like you're taking it, but you're not doing anything about it. Whereas Sisu is, all right, this is happening to me, and I could just lay down and say, oh, woe is me, and try to just, wait it all out. But Sisu is saying, hey, this is happening, and it's not okay, and this is how I'm going to overcome it, and I'm going to face it head on. I'm not going to bow and cower. I'm going to assert myself in overcoming this. It's not just momentary courage. It's not about the fleeting bravery, but the ability to sustain courage and resilience over time. It's determination in the face of adversities over and over again, like I've said. And it's so much more than grit. It's the fire that keeps you going when others quit. That's what Sisu is. It's like, man, that guy just never stops. Like, what is going on? Like, he has every reason just to, go and drink himself to death type thing. Or he has every reason to go and pursue this and escape from all this. Yet he's constantly overcoming. He's constantly fighting. He's constantly not just accepting what's given to him, but is overcoming. And that's what it is. That's the alpha. That's who we are. And that we see, okay, that's not the way it should be, and it sucks, but this is what I'm going to do about it. And too oftentimes what's happening in our society is we have boys, and some of them are boys that are like, paying taxes, the boys that can shave, that they just sit back and they play the victim type thing. That's not a Sisu mindset. A Sisu mindset is saying, okay, yeah, this sucks. I can own that, but I'm going to embrace the suck, and I'm going to face this head on. And understanding that the only easy day was yesterday, like the SEALs say, right? And, I'm just going to keep pushing forward. And so that because I know the goal ahead of here. This is not who I want to be. This is not the life that I want to provide for my family. This is not the role that I want to be in the organization. I want to keep going forward, and it's having that resilience, that Sisu mindset to overcome it. And I encourage you to watch the movie. We all watch terrible movies when we're on shift, and you might watch this one and be like, okay, that was a dud type thing, but I think you'll actually enjoy it. And he does kill a lot of Nazis in the process, right? But you'll see the character actually is is showing this is what Sisu is. It's overcoming these overwhelming odds. When it seems like he's down and out, he overcomes. When it seems like, the Nazis have had the last word, he actually comes back. When it looks like there's just no hope, he keeps pushing forward. And we need to have that. Now, how do we develop that, right? Well, one is through that training, is putting ourselves through the grueling workouts, putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations, whether it's be our training, our workouts, or getting into some martial arts, like doing jiu-jitsu, like it's getting in uncomfortable positions and getting used to, all right, I know now that I can survive on less air than what I think, and how do I get out of this? How do I overcome this? And you have the adversity coming this way, and it's learning how, using that and coming from a different angle, right? The flanking, cover and move. That's all this is. And if we have that mindset, it helps us. But oftentimes, and this is where Alpha Overwatch kind of comes in, this is why we value having Sisu and want to pour that into you guys, is that oftentimes it takes pulling back, also having those tactical retreats, realizing hey, I'm at the point of burnout and there's a good chance I'm going to just quit. Well, before I quit, that's when you need to take that tactical retreat, that I am going to make this tactical move where it looks like I'm going to allow this adversity to win. I'm going to pull back so that I can regain this strength, regain this clarity, and maybe disengage the battle so that I can look at it from a higher perspective, and I'm not emotionally charged in making these decisions, so that I can make a wiser decision. Does that make sense? And then once you've had that time of margin and that time of reprieve and decompression, then you're able to go forth and conquer. And that's what Alpha Overwatch is all about, is helping you, providing you healthy means and giving you that time to escape, to have that tactical retreat, and to build that community that rallies around you so that you're not fighting alone. That they understand, the more you can come and talk about the struggles that you're going through, you realize, hey, I'm not the only one. And oftentimes you're going to find someone who's overcome that adversity, who's overcome that battle, and they can help you to learn how to do that. And so that's the whole purpose of Alpha Overwatch, is to provide that space of tactical retreats, and so that you can have that time, but also provide that community. And when you come to a recon event, if you go on our website, you'll see that there's a part where you can join the community. And when you come on the retreat, you're given a special code to be able to be part of a community there, so that it keeps the conversation going. And then we have our Leave No Man Behind program, that when you've gone on a deployment and you've come through with that, then you get to come alongside someone else and walk with them. And so after they've been on that deployment, you're still checking in, because we don't want to just provide events. We want to provide a longevity here, so that you can keep going forth and conquering. So tell me what you think about this, and do your own Google search and research. And if you can add maybe some clarity here for my own benefit and others, comment below, or on the podcast, make a comment, and let us know what you think about Sisu, and how does that differentiate from grit, and how can you see that in your own life, and what has helped you to develop maybe that Sisu mindset, where the enemy is waiting for you just to die because he can't get you to stop. That's the kind of mindset that we want. That's the type of men that we want to be and need to be, and the world needs us to be. So, guys, just going to wrap up real quick with all this. Just looking forward, we're going to get more regularly here with the podcast. I have some high quality, people coming on to discuss and to talk about. You've seen one of the people's, that the guys that we're going to have come on his artwork we've been using. And so looking forward to that conversation. If you have some questions that you would maybe like to have on some of those podcasts, let me know. If there's a certain podcast topic that you would like us to address, comment and let us know that as well. I also have a brother that over Christmas break I got to roll with and train with, and he's today, the day that I'm recording this, he's actually going to be in a pay-per-view fight, and we've already been talking, and after the fight we're going to set up a podcast with him as well, and have some other guys that have been meaningful to me and I think can contribute to you guys that are going to be coming on as well. So guys, develop that Sisu mindset, go forth and conquer. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like, share, and rate the podcast. It really helps us reach more listeners like yourself. Don't forget to follow us on social media and visit our website, alphaoverwatch.org, for more information. Until next time, remember to go forth and conquer.